In today's video, we are diving into the one financial habit that could change everything for you. Before we even touch on mindset, we got to get real about what it actually costs you to live your life and how you can turn those numbers into the foundation for your dream life. So stick around because mastering this could be the game changer you've been looking for. My name is Gavin McHale. I am a business performance coach, and I've worked with thousands of clients, people from just starting out to multimillionaires. And I have a brand new book coming out called Consciouspreneur, What to Do When the Hard Work Stops Working. If you want to get this full training, you're going to see a part of it. If you want to get the full training, plus 25 other trainings on mindset, money mindset, productivity, click the link below to get on the pre-sale for my book and get into the free Consciouspreneur Academy. Okay, enjoy this video. It's from a live event that I did recently in Toronto. Hope you like it.
Now, the first little bit of this is going to feel like a budgeting class, okay? Bear with me because it's very important. We need to begin with the end in mind, okay? Stephen Covey said it, and if you don't get this stuff figured out that I'm about to talk about, then you're just going to be pursuing more, and it doesn't really matter if we fix your money mindset if you don't have this stuff in place, okay? So, how much money do you need to make to live the life you currently live? Do you know how much money you need to make to live the life you currently live? What is your monthly nut? Okay, that's kind of what I figured. So one, maybe two people. Okay. Let's talk about what money is. Does anyone have a thought on what they think money is? There really aren't any wrong answers. What is money? This guy's reading ahead in the textbook. Nice work. He said energy currency. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Anybody else got something on what they think money is? Fake. Hell yeah, fake. Value, exchange of value. So yeah, awesome. Power, absolutely. Yep. Convenience, absolutely. So in reality, my take, and this, take it or leave it, my take is that money is a completely neutral thing, and humans have made it mean something more than it really does. At the end of the day, money is an exchange of energy. Okay? 2,000 years ago, they exchanged a goat for a sheaf of wheat. That's what money was, right? It is an exchange of energy. Just like relationships are an exchange of energy. Can we agree? Those kind of run along the same line. And if you're married here, or if you're in a relationship, or if you want to be in a relationship, how do we become closer? We get to know that person. We spend time with them, right? If you don't know how much money you need to make to live the life you currently live, that needs to be priority number one if you want to make friends with money. If you want more of it, you need to make friends with it. You should actually probably become, intimate partners with it, right? So I would strongly suggest, first of all, figure out, okay, what is my housing cost? What is my transportation cost? What is my food cost? What is my hobbies cost? Every month, what is that? How much do I need to make? And then, of course, taxes. We got to throw those on top of there, right? If we can figure that out, now we have something that we can grasp onto, something specific, okay? Next part is, okay, so that's priority. If you don't have that, which 99% of you don't, that's priority one. What does it cost to live the life you're currently living? And then, what would you need to make to live your dream life as you kind of see it now? So a lot of people tell me they want to travel more, right? Great. What kind of traveler are you? Are you traveling in tents? Are you, renting an RV? Are you staying in the Sky Dome hotel that looks out on a baseball field? How much does a trip cost? How many trips do you want to take a year? My wife and I have an experience fund, okay? We put money into that account every month, and that allowed us, the 2 days before we came here, we went to Muskoka, rented a cabin, and none of that money had to come out of our checking account. It came out of our experience fund because we put money towards that because it's what we value. So if you want to travel, let's solve for that problem. If you want to buy a new house, how much does your dream house cost in the area you want to be in? What's the down payment? What's the mortgage? We need to know these numbers. I know this is boring stuff because I thought you were going to talk about mindset, dude. I will. Okay? But you need to know these numbers. Our brains are built to solve problems. Problem is, we usually give them shitty problems to solve. I want more money. It's not a very good problem. I want X amount of money so that I can buy my family our dream home, or I can knock down mom's house in Greece and build a 3-plex. Right? If you can figure out what that actually costs, you're going to be like, you're like a dog on a bone, aren't you? You're like, yeah, and we're going to make this happen. Like it's already done, right? Time just hasn't caught up yet. Bingo. So when we figure that number out, now our brain can solve a better problem. And we just said, you guys are winners. You guys will run through a wall. Let's give it something specific. Does that make sense? So job number 1, how much does it cost you to live? And then job number 2 is when we looked at that 100K and the like, what would we prioritize? What do you want? And what's that going to cost? Because we can say, okay, I want this, $2 million house. So the down payment is 20%. So the down payment is whatever. I'm not a math guy. $400,000. Bingo. Okay, so $400,000 down payment, and I want to do that in a year, and I currently have $100,000 saved up. Boom, $300,000 divided by 12 months. That's what you need to make on top of your living expenses. You can go solve for that. The team can help you solve for that. Okay? This stuff needs to be in place before we can start to fix the mindset. Right? We can do it today, but let's make sure that we actually have the end in mind of where we want to go. Cool? Does everyone have one thing, that they see in their dream life? Like, can you guys name some things that you want, in terms of your dream life? What do you guys want? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to buy a house? Travel? Cool. So I want you to find the places you want to travel, look up how much flights are, look how much accommodation is, okay? And figure out what that costs, okay? Some of you said debt. How much debt do you have? What does it cost to service that debt? What would it cost to pay that down? Dream home. How much is that going to cost? Let's get real numbers here. Okay? Cool? Awesome. Now we can begin. I shared this in Cancun just over a year ago. It's still my favorite quote. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. We have to find the stories that you have about money, and we have to bring them to the surface. The stuff that you learned when you were 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, we have to bring them to the surface, because then we can work on them. If we don't bring them to the surface, they stay there, they direct the chess pieces behind the scenes, and you don't even know. Okay? I heard a great quote that's Carl Jung, the godfather of modern psychology, in my opinion. I heard a great quote that until you're 18 or until you move out, you are being indoctrinated into the cult of what your parents think. We all grew up in a cult, guys. That's what we all have in common. So let's answer some of these questions. What class did you grow up in? I grew up in the heart of the middle class on the prairies in Canada. Mom was a teacher, dad was a cop. Just like heart of the middle class. But if you look one layer back, right, into their generation, my mom grew up in Winnipeg, very cold in the winter, with no heat and no running water. That's lower class. So you can see that her owning a home and going on one vacation a year and having a job and being able to retire at 55, that was the dream. Right? Because if you asked my mom, what did your parents do for a living? She couldn't tell you. They didn't have careers. They just did whatever they could to make money. Right? So think maybe even one generation back about what class you grew up in. Grew up in the middle class, you probably learned the same things as me, right? Paycheck to paycheck usually. Got to do budgeting and figure out what we can afford and what we can't afford. Probably tough for your parents to make things work sometimes. Right? If you grew up in the upper class, there's beliefs that come with that too. And that's totally, there's nothing wrong with that. So what class did you grow up in? And what did that teach you? What kinds of people were you around most of your childhood? I played hockey in the suburbs. Every kid on my team, white, middle-class kid. I didn't get a whole lot of diversity. Okay? When one of my teammates' parents split up, it was like literally this like groundbreaking news, because that just didn't happen. Right? I remember there was like 3 couples that my parents spent the most time with, dinner parties, stuff like that. A teacher and an auto mechanic, a teacher and a principal, and a teacher and a baggage handler. What do you think I learned through osmosis? It's not even like they were sitting me down and teaching me stuff about money. It's the way they acted around money, the way they talked to each other about money. That's too expensive. We can't afford that. We'll never have that. Right? So what kinds of people were you around? And then TV shows and movies, guys. Whew. Okay, when I was a young kid, Richie Rich. Anyone see that movie? Richest kid in the world, super lonely, no friends, and someone's literally trying to kill him and his family so they can have his money. What? A little later on, Billy Madison. Great movie, by the way. He's a complete dipshit because he has too much money. And also, someone's trying to take all of his dad's money from him. So like, all these things just, again, get indoctrinated into our brains about what wealth does to people, what money does to people, how people change, and money brings out the worst in people, right? These are the beliefs that I had. Yet later on, I wanted to be rich and wealthy. You see how that doesn't really make sense? Doesn't really pan out for me? We're going to talk about exactly why. A little bit more. What did your parents say about money? What did your parents teach you about money? Right? I do remember one really positive thing. My dad gave me my first credit card. I had my 88 Pontiac 6000, great vehicle, just in case anyone's looking, a bench seat in the front and the back. And he said, you are going to use this credit card just to put gas in your car, and you're going to make sure you pay it off every month. And that kind of like got me into the world of what a credit card was and what it meant, right? What about, I still remember my dad trying to balance the checkbook. Did any of your parents try and balance the checkbook? Right? He's at the dining room table. He's swearing his face off. What did you spend money on, Val? Where's the receipt? Right? Stress around money. I need the receipt so that I can balance the book with his calculator. Right? I still remember seeing that. Right? I don't remember anything else about that entire year of my life, but I remember seeing that. Those things stick with you. And then what do you remember about money when it comes to money in childhood, right?